CSGO Major, and we're live right into the game. Not even going to get to see our beautiful faces, and yeah, who cares? Waylander going to open things up. JW going to go down with a strict headshot. Waylander's forced back, and this is a lot of pressure we put on this outer bomb site. There's Quick as well. Fnatic struggling in this pistol round, going to try and come back, but all the crossfires across the train yard are just too much. Pistol round goes to Winstrike.
And flawlessly, not a single player dropped in the process. So
it's not ideal.
Definitely not, especially considering that it was Fnatic's decision to apply that pressure and pick up the pace into the embracing arms of Winstrike. And again, we were talking about this just before the stream had its technical issues, that this is a map that historically the likes of World Edit are very, very comfortable on. So once he starts to get the AWP in his hands, Fnatic could be in a bit of trouble. Yeah,
I think you mentioned the stats. Winstrike had played this, what, 7 or 8 times in the past 3 months. Fnatic has only played it just once. So obviously you got to lean towards Winstrike if you want to discuss a team that's going to be more comfortable on train. Scary proposition for Fnatic, staring down the barrel of an 0-2 start in the Challenger stage. Waylander, that smoke is going to delay Fnatic. They're trying to pinch a couple players coming out that main choke point. There's a nice headshot from Twist to try and open things up, but I still think there's just way too much to overcome in this round, and World Edit's going to end things through the smoke.
This time, at least Fnatic did get a player down, so a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah.
Positive, and now they're going to have AKs to fall back on. So let's hope from their perspective, this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting, because as we said before, that loss against Vici, it stung.
Yeah, it still stinks. And yeah, I mean, it's great they have the AKs out. Certainly does get more interesting for them, but on the other side of the map, World Edit's got the AWP in his hands already. So right off the bat, Fnatic's going to have a tall task to get past that weaponry. Deep smoke out towards Ivy, nade as well. Not committing to the aggression, but at least creating the illusion that there could be some kind of pressure.
That is a bit of an odd decision by Newbert.
You just call him Newbert? Is that what I just heard? Is that some low-key shade being thrown out?
Unintentionally, actually. Yeah, I'll own it. Yeah, Newbert, that was a newbie move, mate. Against potential AKs, pushing in like that is a bit of a head-scratcher, and you just let your team down.
Yeah, putting your team in a 4-on-5 situation with well over a minute in the round. That's a tall task for the defense to have to be able to kind of figure out what's coming next. Boomich playing inside ladder room. He knows there's pressure that's about to come. You have to admire keeping up the aggression, though, on the Winstrike side. Quick just took a peek at the upper ramp towards those Bach halls to try and get some information. He's going to be solo at this inner bomb site, and Fnatic is starting to readjust across the map. You can see on the mini-map, players, including the bomb, creeping their way towards these box halls. Will Winstrike read it in time?
That's really about JW showing his presence once this smoke clears. If he can keep 1 or 2 players over on the Ivy or A side, that's really his job done, even if he dies. If not, he becomes the flanker. He becomes the potential reaper of all the kills. Maybe not be required, though, if Crims just goes out lone gunman style and picks himself up a bunch of frags. The bomb has been planted with 15 seconds left, and this is where Fnatic should really strive for the round win, and pretty comfortably. They don't want to lose too many weapons in the process here. World Edit's missed his chance. He's already got 2 kills so far on this map, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to add any more to that tally as Waylander has been put in his place. And Fnatic, they are going to be picking up their first round.
Winstrike's lucky to get away with that AWP, and they're still not out of the woods just yet. I would not be surprised if Fnatic picked up the hunt. Their money isn't great. They don't want to lose AK-47. It's a pretty valuable weapon to take out of the hands of the defense. Almost seems like nobody on Winstrike has the thought in their head to call for a save. Fnatic so pushed up down those alleys, those gaps in the trains at the inner bomb site, and still players challenging. Still the Famas committed to that high train, the oil train. And that's really going to hurt what they can bring to fight with in this round. Norbert can buy. They have the AWP, and that might just convince them to force up behind it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the state of play. They had enough finances to justify a buy. Norbert has about 5k, so it's going to be another AUG, and you did highlight this before. AUG is going to be a very powerful gun on this map because of the open areas and the longer range he's typically going to be facing off against Existo. He's not messing about, straight out of main. However, that's to his detriment, to his demise. World Edit's going to pierce through the smoke and find him. He was by and large by himself, though. The rest of the team is actually moving on box halls with a bomb.
There's that AUG ringing out as well as Brolin tries to make something happen down lower ramp. But, I mean, Winstrike has a phenomenal hold on the situation. And despite the sketchy buy coming into this round, all 5 players looking pretty solid to keep their weaponry moving forward. Again, another round Fnatic, no production in the frag department.
Yeah, and whereas before it was pistol rounds and sort of force buys, now you're talking about a full investment where Winstrike have put their savings into the round. Not getting a single kill out of this is just simply not good enough for Fnatic.
Train's going to be a similar kind of theoretical style to what I mentioned on Nuke, where that T side you can get bogged down, and there are going to be stretches where you really do kind of get stumped and it feels hopeless, and the only thing you can really rely on is the fact that you're able to grind your opposition's economy to almost nothing, so that when you finally do get that first win in, you know, 4, sometimes 5 rounds, it's one of those that gives you 2. It resets them immediately, and nothing in that sense goes the way of Fnatic in that round. So, some AKs picked up, 2 AUGs, 2 AKs, an AWP for Winstrike and Fnatic. Yeah, they're going to go for a half buy. They're not going to invest. They could have gone for a couple rifles, but wanting to play for a full buy in the next round. I will say, I was pretty cool, JW lurking towards Ivy when he first kind of made this switch when this team was formed, and he started using rifle way more than the AWP, and he kind of gave away that primary AWP role on the team. His lurk towards Ivy on Train was very effective. And they're going to need it to be that way as well if they want to avoid that 0-2 pitfall.
So far only 19 ADR. Still early days, of course, just into round 5. It hasn't been a fantastic map. Oh, the timing on that reload is going to allow Twist and the rest of his team to push straight down the ramp into the embracing arms of Winstrike. But a 2-for-2 trade is going to do Fnatic just fine. I think the bomb just got dropped, though, on the site. No, Brolan's picked it up. He's gone for the plant. Boomich from the backside. Going to be able to best him. Molotov was burning him alive anyway. And now Crims in a 1-on-3. Doesn't have Kevlar. Does have the first kill. And relatively for free, too. Almost about 10 HP. Let's switch across to that Desert Eagle. The bomb is not planted for him, though. And it is going to be Winstrike picking up their 4th round.
Oh, that's unfortunate. The entire plan that Crims just had, get that kill. He wanted to drop the AUG, swap it out for the AWP that was on the ground from the player he killed, and get away. Just let them defuse the bomb. Not able to make it happen as he didn't pick it up on that initial retreat. Had to go back for it, and that allowed Winstrike to make sure he couldn't bring that weapon into the next round.
So here come the AKs. JW does have an AWP to counteract World Edit's AWP. And of course the 4 AUGs. World Edit does love this Ivy side with the AWP. We'll go here time and time again.
He just ran this exact kind of play on the defense just a few rounds back. That deep smoke, the need to follow it up. He didn't commit to the aggression in that round. Looks like this one he might want to be a little bit more assertive. Going to use the gap in the smoke to get in a good position, being very wary, very suspicious of any kind of play as that smoke dissipates. Surely Twist checks this corner. Oh, great pop flash. He's just got to hold down the trigger and pray, and it's not going to work. God is not with you.
I was about to say as well, you know, we mentioned about the 1-hit kill from the AUG. That is the kind of range.
Yeah.
Had he have landed from that point, but of course, as you say, the god tier pop flash just destroying his retinas, couldn't see a single thing. And Fnatic off to one of their better starts.
At least in this round, still got a ways to go, and also, I mean, you can see Winstrike putting a lot of faith in Norbert just to hold on to that inner bomb site all on his lonesome. He's actually playing it pretty deep back so he can have a quick rotation, but this does allow Winstrike to keep 3 players outside. 1 on the bomb train, 1 towards Ivy behind the smoke. It's Boomich, and there's the AWP. World Edit missing the initial salvo. But not a lot of pressure applied on this bomb site just yet for Fnatic. They're starting to get into position to make this effective, and that's a nice kill for Quick.
Oh, and a second one to boot. World Edit's going to chime in. And Fnatic are being barreled over. Twist and Brolan. Make it just Twist, 15 seconds. And it's another convincing round win for Winstrike.
Those 2 kills Quick gets in the bomb train are beautiful. The first kill is not bad, but that follow-up on a JW, that really eliminates a lot of the danger. That AWP was in perfect position at range to be able to support his teammates all across the outer yard. Timeout called by Fnatic, and can't blame him. Much needed here as you see Exist talking some things over. Exist and Jumpy going back and forth. Yumpy.
Not much yoy for Fnatic at the moment, though.
No yoy at all.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of touched on this before when it came to Greyhound. It's better to, as soon as things start to seem like go off the rails, you need to call that timeout. You need to just have a bit of a recollect and figure out what's going wrong, what things you can tweak, and maybe just settle down a little bit too, because Fnatic, obviously, we did have a bit of a delay. There's no getting past that.
Yep.
Did that get into Fnatic's minds? Perhaps. Just got to calm down.
But that's where you'd expect the experience of JW, Exist, and Crims to carry you through that tough stretch of being the guys who are mentally able to kind of, you know, ignore the fact that there is a little bit of a delay, ignore the fact that you have to, your match keeps getting pushed back. So far, it hasn't worked out in that fashion. Crims in a pretty decent position, but just Deagle pulls attention away for the moment. Waylander comes back just in time to spray on a couple of these Augs at this range are just so deadly. The scope firing doing work.
It really is the ridiculous aspect of the Aug. Not only can it perforate at range, but you can just hold left click down and spray and land headshots, as you saw there on Ivy. JW's going to get smoked out, likely going to push straight through, try and catch Norbert off guard. Crims will finish off the rest, but he's in a 1-on-2. Still plenty of time, but he doesn't have control of the bomb. He's going to have to traverse over towards the Ivy side.
You have to imagine he'd want to find a weapon at some point. He spots one out in ladder room. That's Boomich jumping back and forth. But Crims, if he wants to go for a weapon, he's going to be so incredibly exposed from so many different angles, and he has no idea where the second player is. Out towards Ivy, it's going to be a free kill for World Edit. Even swaps out for the AWP. Good win for Winstrike.
One of many. They are now in a commanding position. Apparently another timeout for Fnatic. So they're just not comfortable. They're just not feeling it right now. And that is tactical. It's not a technical one.
Yeah, no, that is kind of that's curious. We saw that earlier. Who did that earlier? Was it
an RG?
Could have been. Could have been Vitality, maybe? I don't know. Another team did that. Back-to-back timeouts in consecutive rounds. All right, Fnatic. AK's back out on the board. JW does not have the AWP. Would have had to drop down to... Actually, no, he probably could have got the op and armor with just no utility. Decides to go for the smokes and the flashes and the Molotov. But Fnatic certainly needs some production in this round. They cannot let Winstrike build up any kind of economy. That would just be a disaster for this opening half.
Flash is not favourable for Crims, actually off his teammates. Trophy originally planned to have a quick peek down the ramp, but that has been completely neutralised. Allowing Winstrike to get into position. We'll let it just a couple of millimetres away from seeing the player hopping up, which was Twist. Joined by JW. It does seem of more of the same, though, from Fnatic. They're not really pushing the boat out and showing us anything brand new. Waylander doing a whole bunch of damage to JW. That Molotov may force him out of position. And she was a bit too shallow, so he's okay. But still, 60 health taken.
And regardless, I mean, you'd have to say mission accomplished on that one. He's at least forced away the pressure from Ivy. Now, they're still going to have to be suspicious and keep their eye on it, despite the fact that we know with the minimap available to us, no one from Fnatic will be there. Oh, and the nade even chunks JW down further. He's having a really rough start to this. 0-7.
Yeah.
And eating a lot of damage, potentially going 0-8. Not a lot of health to get into a fight. Almost looks like he's going to lead the way for his team so that he can at least locate positions of the defense coming right through the smoke, and that's going to be tough for Twist to convert the trade. And even World Edit adding in, and this has just gone from bad to worse for Fnatic.
Well, if there's one man who could potentially make something happen, it would be Crims from Fnatic, but a bridge too far for him, a 1v5 with 20 seconds left. And it doesn't seem like a team that's very comfortable on the T side, and this goes back to what we were discussing.
Yeah.
They haven't played the map much recently, so this is the head scratch. And I assume it's another timeout.
No, I think we're just getting some intense, emotional camera shots.
Which is fair enough, because, you know, Fnatic, obviously, the pressure is mounting now.
Yes, the favorites on the verge of, you know, looking at going 0-2 against Winstrike and Vici. Not the opponents you think would be able to do this kind of damage to Fnatic. Great nade and pre-fire from Crims as World Edit steps right into hell. But this is a good read from Winstrike. One player in ladder room can have a fast flank, 2 players defending the inner bomb site. Those AUGs can still do so much damage here in this situation.
They're pretty much tailor-made for these kind of angles too. Molotov thrown to the back of the site just to stop the bomb from being planted. There goes Quick. He's picked up one. The spray's going to claim another one. And Quick is still alive up on the platform. Boomich from the backside. Double spray. Round done. Fnatic continue to get pounded. And there's really no kind of recourse at all. 8-1.
No, this is a wash at the moment. Fnatic not even competitive in these rounds.
And once again, their old familiar state of affairs financially, it's back to pistols. They're not going to have any assault rifles, no AWPs.
Here we go. Classic inner rush. Hopefully not out of ideas already in this half, because there's still plenty more to be played. But that close up now behind the smoke. He gets too distracted by Brolin jumping out wide to the right. Takes a lot of his attention and a lot of his ammunition away. Molotov out towards the bomb site quick. Looks like he wants to search. Looks like he knows that someone has ran past him, but it's actually going to be Brolin. And yeah, now he realizes it. Now he has the confirmation, but it puts his team in such a tough spot.
Boomich again, who's been so rapid on the rotations. Up on the box hall side, moving to Catwalk. Waylander, point blank range, going to be gifted that kill. Down to Broland. 1 on 3, and he has no interest. He's going to save the AWP. Toss that across to JW. This round is over.
Brolin had to be confused because you push up and you get that kill, and you imagine there's going to be more opposition, more resistance from Winstrike that you can take fights. But both of the remaining players, there was one there, but both the other guys were on the flank. So no real option for Brolin to get involved after that kind of an aggressive play. Winstrike just has all the answers at the moment. 9-1.
JW 0-10. On what you'd consider to be an AWPing map, he's had no impact at all. And he's had the AWP a few times already. Broland this time going to play aggressive. We saw Exist do this for a play early, and he got smacked through the smoke from World Edit. This time it's Boomich.
What can you do about that one? Boomich just not even caring whatsoever, just going for the powerful wide swing peek. JW looking for his first, but there's so many angles to check outside, so much smoke to obscure your vision. He's going to get a chance here against World Edit. As their smoke clears, JW's on the board. First one's the hardest. They've got an even situation, 3-on-3 as Waylander finds Twist. But Fnatic have not picked a final destination on this map just yet.
That decision is certainly still up in the air. Maybe hesitating with an A play. JW's going to see if he can maybe get himself another kill on the board and sway this in favor of the Swedes. Here's a rotation from Quick to the B side. This leaves Waylander by himself. And he's actually vacated the A side, so A is by and large open for the time being.
It's kind of a cool decision as well, because you don't give Fnatic the opportunity to kind of thin out your defense. And you all of a sudden control the extremities for the retake. Waylander watching the cross, sees one jump and Exist with the pre-fire, able to land some shots. Waylander just above half HP.
Not far off landing that shot either. Gonna molly to the back of the trains and see if he can fend off one position for the rest of his team to move in. Norbert from Connector. He is going to be perforated first. Here comes Crims. He's awakening. He's becoming alive for Fnatic, and they really need him now more than ever. And now it's Winstrike's turn to save the AWP. So Fnatic will double up and get their second round.
They've lost the AWP though, and that's actually not the greatest thing in the world. An expensive weapon, and one they obviously want to keep in JW's hands as much as possible. Exist is going to come pick it up. So no real big loss anymore. Second round for Fnatic. Question is, can they build upon it? It took them quite a while to get their second. Took them a bit of time as well to get their first. So I mean, they still don't seem to have found the winning recipe. That time helped out by some picks. And a great double kill from Crims as he takes out Norbert and Connector. The team flash comes out for the other member of Winstrike. 9-2 though, and a chance for Fnatic to close the gap at the end of this first half.
The good news for Fnatic at least is that a couple of the players, Norbert and Waylander, down to $300 or less, but there's World Edit. Flick across the Crims, partially through the box, and only loses 21 health for his troubles.
Crims has taken that fight a couple times, and I'm wondering if World Edit actually saw that, or if he just saw the flames in the ground and was, you know what, I'll just take the peek and pre-fire and then back off. Exist playing a dangerous game, but he sees Boomich coming through the smoke, and Boomich just a little bit too slow trying to be sneaky.
Excellent work from Twist to start things off. Norbert, worst possible time to switch across weapons. It's going to cost him his life, and the B site will follow. Quick's not in position to stop this. Moving through Connector to join World Edit. Ooh, but there he is. Headshot delivered to JW. They still have a Molotov, a smoke, and a couple of kits. They could very well neutralize any hopes for Fnatic. They don't have that Molotov either. You'd love to toss out from the top of the catwalk, bounce off the wall onto the site. But time is scarce. Winstrike have got to get a move on. The flashbang perfectly placed, and now it's down to Exist and at a measly 13 health. But he's managed to come out the best possible time. That's Quick though with the headshot, finishing off with the AWP, pardon me, and he does have the defuse as well. When it rains, it pours for Fnatic. 10-2 now. No, nothing's gone right there, and I'm actually it's almost incredible that Winstrike's able to come out with that win. You have to feel for Exist. Gets that first kill, and you just have to check for the bomb. You can't just trust the fact that even though you killed his teammate, he's going to get off the defuse, and with only 13 HP, no real health to kind of take that battle. This is a third time out in the opening half for Fnatic, and boy, do they need it. 2-10. They need to get a couple of these down the stretch in these last 3 rounds to give themselves some kind of breathing room going into the second half. Only one timeout remains too. This is their third. Gotta try and figure out some master plan. I mean, we've seen them try splits, we've seen them try playing aggressive outside of main. We haven't really seen, apart from the pistol round, an aggressive B hit. So maybe that could be something on the cards, a B execute.
They have leaned on the B bomb side in some of the late rounds.
Yes, but not right off the bat. But then again, from Winstrike's perspective, this is maybe something that you'd anticipate to happen.
Well, we just saw, I mean, Waylander, Crims has kind of gone back and forth. I imagine he's kind of even in those opening duels towards the box halls in terms of, you know, winning that opening duel and losing it. Oh, into the ladder room we go. Boomich somehow gets Crims, which is going to be frustrating. Immediately traded, highly aggressive. They've picked up the pace towards outside. Flames everywhere, and one spotted on the bomb train. Brolin not able to find the kill just yet, and Quick is under a lot of pressure. Not sure where the next point of attack is going to come from, and World Edit's bailing him out with that AWP back towards Old Bomb. He's keeping Fnatic at bay, and he stalls them out for this flank to work its magic. Waylander, a double kill, and it's so quickly gone. An opportunity for Fnatic, but it gets shut down. A monstrous half so far for Winstrike on the defense.
You know, as poor as Fnatic have looked, Winstrike have looked phenomenal on this map so far. They've had perfect rotations, perfect calls. World Edit doesn't seem to miss, and Quick is doing a hell of a job with the AWP. So you can't even say this is all Fnatic's failures. Winstrike have absolutely earned this lead.
Another game, as we just saw, between the Vitality and Greyhound, where Counter-Strike legends with major titles under their belt are going to have to mount a huge comeback in the second half.
A bit of out of position there by Waylander, but somehow still gets 2 kills. It looked like the spray was completely getting away from him.
It honestly looks like Fnatic ran out of ideas. They even used 3 timeouts to kind of try and talk their way to a winning formula, and haven't been able to kind of discover the key to getting past this defense.
Which goes back to a point we raised earlier, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but why train in that case? Like, if you're in a position where you only have 2 or 3 strats, and after that there is no plan B, just don't go to train. You know what I mean?
It seems so simple, doesn't it? Here we go. Flashbangs out, fast pace towards the outer bomb site. They had a chance in the previous time they did this, and it seemed it was just on the knife's edge. They just needed one extra kill to open things up. An even situation of 4-on-4, but the Augs just reign supreme. So good at these long-range angles. 2-on-3 as Exist tries to get out towards Ivy, but the rotation is already in. It's all on Brolin, who's dinked down to 12. Not looking likely, Vince.
Looks like we are heading to another 13-2 lead at halftime.
Boomich is just 10 steps ahead of Brolin.
Yeah, this is what I mean. The rotations have been so solid by Winstrike. They constantly are getting round the side of Fnatic. There's still a lot of time to play with, though, so Brolin doesn't have to fully commit to B.
He was going down that lower ramp, and he heard the footsteps on the train. He was like, I don't know. And now Winstrike might be overthinking it as Boomich starts to cheat, but he is going to stick around for the moment. Just a more central position for the rotations.
I'm going to start to create some doubt in the mind of Winstrike collectively. What he ideally wants is for Boomich to go onto that A side, or at least move away for a few moments to give him the opportunity to get closer, to spring the trap. Not going to happen though. Boomich just checks up on Catwalk, and we are going to have a 13-2 half again. Will we see another epic comeback? That's the question.
That's one hell of a defense for Winstrike. Very impressive stuff. Fnatic's going to switch over to the CT side, but we're going to take a break first. When we return, we'll see if Fnatic can mount that comeback.
Intel Extreme Masters is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, Acer Predator, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard.
Spodek, you see there is the end goal for these teams to make it into the playoffs of IEM Katowice Major. Both teams trying to avoid going 0-2, a deficit that's very difficult to recover from, and Winstrike certainly have a gigantic advantage in this map. 13-2 lead, heading onto the offensive side. Fnatic need to just set up a defensive wall for the moment.
We have already seen a 13-2 lead squandered today, but under very different circumstances. JW going to go for an even trade with Waylander. And Twist has given them the advantage, so Fnatic are holding on for dear life. Boomich is taking significant damage. The bomb just dropped in front of him, but Waylander's going to come back in as well. On a razor's edge, this is for Fnatic. They lose this pistol, they're basically 0-2 already.
Even though Winstrike doesn't have the bomb, they can really slow this down. They have a minute to play with. Yeah, that smoke could pull some attention over. I think they've spotted out where both players are. Yeah, they know exactly where it is, but eliminating them is a whole other problem.
Ooh, good call. Waylander definitely, definitely got a fright there.
What a dick move from Crims.
35 seconds. Crims positioning himself just around the corner, not giving anything away to Waylander. But now he's heard the footsteps, and that's one hell of a read by Crims. Into the headshot, and Fnatic will pick up the second pistol, so there is maybe a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
At a certain point when you're Crims in that situation, you don't hear any noise and you don't see him re-peeking anywhere, you're like, all right, something's up. Check behind you. Good find for Crims. Actually, the timing was there where he could have rotated all the way to the inner bomb site with the bomb and gotten a plant down, but that would have been just an epic play. We'll see. I mean, Fnatic's going to be able to get the Augs out. We saw how effective they were in the hands of Winstrike. I think we've seen a couple maps now, Train and Nuke, two of the maps where the AUG is especially effective. Narrow choke points, long angles to fight in.
Full Glocks with the 1P250. Should be a gimme round on the side of the Swedes. Waylander's been spotted on the ramp. And we'll let it cheeky. As does Zeus. As does Boomich, actually. Gonna go for the Taser squad.
On the T side as well. That's a little curious. Like, well, there's not too many opportunities on this map to get super close up to your opponents, especially in a round where everyone just has pistols and Fnatic has all the rifles. But maybe they just test their patience. Maybe they say, you know what? It's been a long day. Getting deep into the night. We'll see if anyone from Fnatic starts just pushing forward into the choke points. It's not going to happen. Crim's going to get the final kill. 4th round for Fnatic. Still a long way to go before you can even mention the C word.
Yeah, no need to warm up the Heimlich maneuver just yet. But AK-47s, and Fnatic haven't upgraded to the AUGs yet, so they haven't quite hit that power spike that we were talking about. This is actually quite a vulnerable buy. All things considered, Winstrike have a better purchase in terms of weaponry.
You're going to have to take some risks if you're Fnatic to be able to make this happen. A whole JW, they're already close up. Good recovery coming through the flames. Almost a double kill. Norbert down low, but no one saw Waylander. Waylander was able to push so far down the aisle between the trains, but oh, that is a missed opportunity. A huge gaff on the side of Waylander. Crim's in a solid position as well in ladder room.
Yeah, that's horrendous. That could have actually just been the round straight up for Winstrike.
This is tough, though. Both Fnatic players actually in ladder room exist pushing up for the flank. Crim's in there, so they actually do not have great coverage of the map. Winstrike actually controls this map and exists in Crim's. By virtue of them being so close together, they have no information.
The problem is, though, there's no way Winstrike know that either. So they're also feeling their way out, probing, seeing where these CTs are, which gives Fnatic a chance to maneuver back onto the B side, get through connector, just smoking off Pop Dog. And you can see that Winstrike really aren't sure, especially as Norbert is so low on health. They can't take any risks.
He's been at the bomb train for some time, though, and he's surely going to be able to tell World Edit, who desperately wishes he could reach under that train to get the smoke, surely going to be able to say, this looks pretty clear. They threw that smoke a while ago. It's going to disappear pretty soon, but the plant is going to get down just in time. Exist, his vision is still obscured, but not for long.
Norbert has moved to the back of the trains, but Exist on the prowl alongside Crims. He's making a move. Gonna check up in heaven to his left-hand side, but it's too little too late. Norbert now has a chance to clutch on 13. Unlucky for some. And him too. Exist is gonna get the clutch down. Is at the cost of 4 players, though. That is going to hurt them quite a bit, economically speaking.
It's all right, though. If you're Fnatic and you're down by this much, you have to take that risk. And I don't mind them not upgrading in this round because they didn't invest. It's not, I mean, it's still a pretty painful loss, but it's not as bad as it could have been if they had tried to upgrade into the M4s and the AUGs.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, with that victory, they can try and get some of their legs underneath them. Now you're going to see the AWP on Twist. You're going to see the AKs and the AUGs come out. Exist was able to upgrade. Double up setup, as you mentioned. JW A map where he can do some work. Both of the Operas of Fnatic having pretty rough starts to this game, even switching over to the CT side. 6 kills for Twist, 5 kills for JW.
Yeah, 11 combined when we're moving into round 19 is certainly rough. And although they have got this very solid buy, that the problems will really start to catch up to them if they concede a bunch of players in this round. They've got to make sure they get this one clean and keep both AWPs alive, whatever happens. The Desert Eagles can be a very real issue and danger, and Fnatic need to respect that, and that's exactly why. As Norbert will put one between the eyes of Brolan. At least Crimson's came back with a kill of his own, but Fnatic on shaky ground.
It's on one of the riflers, though, and those are the weapons that are meant to keep space for your AWPs. And this shot from JW, there goes Norbert, and now it's down to these 2 players in Ivy. The bomb is all on his own over towards Pop Dog and Ladder Room, waiting for some attention to be pulled away by the Ivy players to try and pinch onto this A bomb site, but the Ops are out here. 3 players in this outer yard.
The Eagles are getting a lot of shots off. They're getting a lot of opportunities to try and land those 1Ds. Quick round the corner. Finds Crims. And additionally, the player up in heaven, which is Exist. Wayland around the corner, going to get flashbanged as well. Fnatic doing a pretty good job of using their utility just to stall this off. And there is Crims with his AUG. There's the headshot, though, in retaliation. Now that's 3 players down. Are they going to be able to get to that secondary AWP? I believe they will, just in the nick of time. So they do save the 2 AWPs, but it's mainly the rest of the team that's going to be struggling a little bit now.
Now that is a costly round for Fnatic. That is when, you know, they just lost 4 players. Now they lose 3 just after they had kind of purchased all the expensive weapons, upgraded away from those FAMASes that they had in the 3rd round. Thankfully, they saved both AWPs. There's a small tech issue here as we're going to get a pause coming out.
Yeah, well, that 4K in the round prior this is where it really catches up with you.
It's like compounding, especially because it was around, you know, that's a round where they lose 3 players after losing 4, but it's from Deagles from Winstrike, so it's not a huge investment for the other side. So they actually are going to have a very, very good buy in this round. Fnatic's going to be scraping together whatever they possibly can.
When the roles were reversed and Fnatic obviously got dismantled 13-2 on their T side, very rarely you saw them picking up more than maybe 1 or 2 kills. They were just chipping away, so the economy was constantly building for Winstrike. Even if they did lose 2 or 3 players now and again, they had like $10,000 in the bank easily.
Yeah.
So replenished weapons were no issue. Whereas Fnatic already are off to a much shakier start, where when you have such a small area of potentially failure, this is where the pressure's really going to start to mount for them.
Right. It's where things get frustrating as well, where every time you eat a Deagle bullet to the face, you're just thinking, why? Why me?
And this probably isn't going to help matters either.
No. If you're looking for some stress relief as a Fnatic player or even a fan, this is not what you want.
Just got to keep composed. As he said earlier, this is where the experience really has to come to the forefront.
Twist is not looking composed. I'm not going to lie here. Just going for a little bit of a stroll. I would imagine he's the one with the tech issues, but headphones off, out of the seat, just kind of walking in circles, trying to shake it off.
You have to feel if there's one man that has a right to feel a little bit hard done by, a little bit stressed, it's Crims. He has been the main man for Fnatic for quite some time now.
He's got a bit of a temper.
He does. He's smashed a few desks in his time.
Yeah, we've seen it in his day.
So some potential matchups then. If Fnatic, let's just...
It's a little bit sticky situation to go into that because, remember, this is the major ESL has introduced their own ELO system in addition to the Swiss system.
Oh,
so it's no longer just by 1-0 or 1-1 teams. They have their own little ranking within a ranking.
Sure.
And I don't feel like doing those maths on air. Or just in general, actually.
Yeah, maths definitely isn't my strong suit either, so best to dodge that one. Oh no, headphones are coming off. Not like this. Well, apparently it's the same issue that the A stream is also having, so it's
tournament wide. It's not us.
Yeah. Okay. Somehow it doesn't make me feel any better though.
No, it really doesn't. Although to a certain degree, it is always nice knowing that your colleagues are experiencing the same thing you are.
In a kind of sadistic way, yeah. They're sharing that feeling.
That's what we deal with here in Counter-Strike. Sadistic pleasures. That is our currency. So, Fnatic staring down the barrel of 0-2. That is not ideal for them. 13-6, trying to mount what comeback they can. But it's a struggle the whole way through. I'm going to bring up some of the other matches we have coming up, because this isn't even close to the last match of the day. We have 2 more coming up after this.
Right. Well, there's 4 matches.
Well, 4
total,
more. Yeah.
But yeah, 2 on each stream.
So the game that the A stream is covering, Furia versus Avangard, at the moment it is 8-6 in the favor of Furia in the first half. And what do we have coming up next for everybody? Let me check that out.
I know we have Ents and G2.
Ents and G2, and then Cloud9 and Tyloo will go on at the same time.
Ooh.
And then to end the evening, we have NRG Vici and NiP Renegades.
So in terms of predictions for those games, where would you come down?
I have Avangard beating Furia. I have Ents beating G2. I have Cloud9 beating Tyloo. I have NiP beating Renegades, and I have NRG beating Vici. Those are my personal.
Exactly the same.
Okay.
Yeah. The tweet
Cool.
I made was exactly the same. Oh, I think we might be jumping back live. No, okay, rip.
Yeah.
I had to go and jinx it, didn't I? I ruined everything. I'm sorry, guys.
It happens to the best of us.
My bad.
It's all right. We just came out of the break. We're a bit rusty. We should know better, but, you know.
We've been doing this for long enough.
First day back.
So apparently it's a networking issue that we are experiencing at the moment.
Vince, what was your favorite Christmas gift that you bought? Or that you got?
See, I don't really get presents.
Oh, well, that just turned real depressing, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, no, it's like...
I'll get you something this week. Get you, like, some,
cheers, mate.
a bag of pierogies or something. You know what I did? I feel like this is a really genius move. I bought all my family members a sous vide.
A what, sorry?
A sous vide, that cooking method. Anders is big into it. I know a bunch of other people that have gotten into it. It's that cooking method where you vacuum seal it in the bag and you stick like water and let it cook for a long period of time. That cooks like a really good steak. So I just bought all my family sous vide, and I was just like, well, you know, for the 30 days a year that I'm home, at least I'm going to be fed. Like, someone's going to be cooking me a steak.
You do travel an ungodly amount. Like, I don't know how you guys do that.
It's all worth it for this.
Well, there's going to be some epic moments created for sure over the duration of this major. And this is just the first day. There is a lot of Counter-Strike coming up.
Yes, this is the first day of, I think it's something crazy, like 15 days of Counter-Strike across the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's 3 weeks. I think we have a couple of days, like transitional days, where teams come and go through the stages.
Yep.
And then a lot of show days as well. I wish I could lip read, just so I guess it would be in Swedish though, wouldn't it?
I think they're talking to the admin, so it's likely in English. Can you lip read Russian?
No. I can't even lip read English, mate. I'm useless. I can barely speak the language. So, I mean, if you have just joined us, by the way, you picked a poor time, but it was 13-2 after the first half. And it looked really sketchy for Fnatic, to put it kindly, honestly. Winstrike had a phenomenal CT side.
It still feels a little bit out of reach. One of the worrying signs for me that I've already seen in the CT side of Fnatic is the number of times that a player from Winstrike has been able to go out towards that Olaf position and then towards Old Hell and be able to get down that first lane along the wall and kind of go deep towards Ivy and kind of spin on the bomb train. They've had some success. We saw, I think it was Norbert with the Deagle able to get 1 or 2 kills from that position. We saw on the Pistorana a player able to make the way down that as well to backstab JW when he's paying attention towards Ivy. So that's the first kind of warning sign I have for a team if I'm trying to figure out if they seem like they kind of have a solid game plan for their defense on train, because that position is just so tough to handle and it's so difficult, and you really have to kind of have protocols for who's watching it at which time and how you switch off your attention.
Of course, we're in a position as well where Winstrike were able to whittle down Fnatic to just 2 AWPs. There was a bunch of Orgs alongside it. Now, if this is the correct money, they would be able to drop. There would be Orgs back in play again, but they'd be in a similar situation where if Winstrike can just take a couple weapons away, things get a bit odd again. Plus, last round was with Desert Eagle, so AKs and an AWP will be coming up for Winstrike.
I mean, Fnatic's going to have a good buy in this round. The problem is they're going to have no money behind it. So it's, again, just that situation where you're walking on the tightrope where it's like you can't take losses. You need to build up some cash. So they're not out of the woods by any means. I see walkie-talkies being used.
Never a great sign, is it?
Well, we are getting word this is going to take just a small bit of time, so we're going to head to a quick break. So stay with us. We'll be right back. We'll be able to update you when we return. And we're back. Told you it'd be quick. Looks like people getting ready to start going live. Unpause the game, get back into the action, see if Fnatic can mount this comeback. Both these teams trying to avoid the 0-2 pitfall. Winstrike in a much better position.
Yeah, I still feel like, without being pessimistic, this may be a bridge too far for Fnatic. The way, I mean, when you take everything into consideration, like the delays, the back and forth nature of it, how poorly they played in the first game, how poorly they played in the first half, I'll tell you what, if Fnatic can come back and end up winning this game, I'll have a huge amount of respect for the tenacity they'll show. Like,
Yeah.
You have to be so headstrong to come back from this.
I mean, we've seen these guys in Fnatic, not the specific lineup, but they have been resilient in the past.
Sure.
They've made some incredible comebacks in the past. Indeed, even here in Katowice. Grand final against Luminosity way back when.
It's a good point. I mean, they've been around the block many times. Then again, on the side of Winstrike, you've got Waylander, you've got World Edit. These guys have been around for quite some time as well. Obviously, you haven't played consistently at the same level as many of the Fnatic players, but they're no spring chickens.
You just call them old. Is that what that's saying?
As if I have the right to call anyone old. In the context of CS.
First you call him Newbert, now you're calling him all old.
I legit didn't even mean this to say it. I just slipped out. Freudian slip, I guess. The play was pretty bad, though. To be fair. That's like the stuff.
In my defense, the play was awful.
Yeah, in my defense, that's like watching myself play, and I'm absolute garbage. I wish we had an update or something to tell people at home that we're watching.
Yeah, last we heard it was some network issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're just waiting on getting those fixed. Had a couple of internet problems earlier this evening. So could just be an extension of those earlier problems.
Okay, I'm asking you the big questions now.
All right, what's up?
I feel like
is this where we play Truth or Dare?
Scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
In terms of your prediction for the entire major, the winner.
Oh dear.
Where do you come down? Obviously, it's a difficult one because we haven't seen all the teams play yet.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, if you're gonna pick like the likeliest team to win it, you obviously can't go away from Astralis.
Sure.
But I think there's a world where there's Astralis coming back out of the extended the holiday break didn't look solid at their first event back, which is kind of pretty much what first events are for, is to kind of get back into playing shape and everything like that. So I mean, if you're going to pick teams to kind of be able to kind of rise up and take them, I think Liquid's up there, obviously, and it's nice to be able to say that. Zeus used to have a rule for me that I wasn't allowed to wish them good luck. Because I did that for like the first like 4 grand finals they were in against Astralis. Like, hey, good luck, guys. And then they just get battered. And he was like, listen. He's like, I don't necessarily believe in the superstitions, but let's just eliminate the possibility. FaZe, if they can find the same form that they had at E-League and kind of build upon that, if, they make some improvements underneath Yanko in terms of discipline, if we see that individual level of Guardian hit its peak again, Rain comes back into shape, there's some real possibility there. And then obviously we haven't seen that MIBR, like the reconvened MIBR lineup play. They could be very deadly. I'm not convinced that project is going to work bringing back that lineup, but you can't deny when that lineup was, playing together, they did win like 5 or 6 tournaments in a row. So I mean, they can, if they find a way to just kind of slide right back into that mindset that they had at the time, there's no reason why they can't be a contender down the stretch as well.
Sure. I think that the landscape was different back then in CS as well. You didn't have as many teams that were flourishing in the likes of FaZe. Also, I've noticed that you left one team out that many people would mention.
Okay. And
I'm curious as if you think you just have no chance, and that's Na'Vi.
Yeah, I originally would have, I don't know, because there's just been so much like, I don't want to say drama, but so much discussion, and as it's gone on, as we've known, they've kind of been, heading towards that dysfunctional status. We've seen more and more of it come public, like the interview with Zeus was pretty revealing and everything. And I was actually talking with some of the guys about this the night we did a podcast, and it was like there is a certain element when you're a team that knows you're done after an event, where everyone just plays so loose and so free because the end is already in sight, right? Like, you're done. So there's no point in like trying to overthink situations, no point in trying to argue with each other, and you can just play loose and play your own game. And if that happens with this Na'Vi, if they hit that like critical mass of just like, screw it, we're breaking up after this, let's just have some fun and let's all play our own game and everyone try and do the best they can, then there's going to be a big element of danger in that team. But I feel like they're almost too dysfunctional to kind of hit that critical mass,
Yeah, for me, when I heard him, Zeus, of course, as you're alluding to that interview, say that they were just approaching this like any other tournament, they weren't really giving any extra effort, I thought, oh no, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just can't have any faith in them at this stage.
No, it's tough.
It was already the Electronic and Simple show, and now they probably don't have faith in what's happening.
No. I can't imagine anyone's feeling too good in that lineup at the moment.
I think we did actually have Crims just kind of wander off somewhere, just into the nether realm. There you go. So Crims is now the invisible man. Oh, there he is. We can see his beautiful bald head making an appearance.
JW's got the banana going on.
So it seems like they've got their phones out. I'm confused.
Yeah, so what we've heard is Steam connection dropped out. Same with the Go TV, so we're trying to get everything reconnected so we can get things back going.
That'll do it then.
Yeah, it's difficult to play this game if you can't connect to the Steam server.
So I've heard. And unfortunately, in that case, we really can't give you guys watching an ETA on how long this could be. Could be a while. Which is going to be rough because, as we said before, the game's still going to be 2 more maps after this one. And then we've got more games tomorrow starting relatively early.
Yeah.
So some teams may end up getting wrecked from this.
This is what the majors are all about, Vince. It's intensity, adversity. You don't get to build a legend around yourself if you don't have to go through some things.
True. Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah. That was a much more succinct way of saying it.
We're really trying to play the positives here. The team's just getting wrecked with sleep deprivation.
Oh, dear. Banana looked good, though. JW made that look like a really good snack decision.
I've got a banana right next to me. I'm kind of tempted, but I'm definitely not eating down the microphone. Definitely. Especially after my whole sort of rant earlier about push to talk and people eating in my ears.
Yeah, you did have a little bit of a moment about that. Well, I mean, if we turn the camera on you and watch you eat the banana.
Jesus.
Not only do people understand the chewing they're hearing, but it'd be very memeable as well. We could create some very cool photoshops out of that. Regardless, we are going to go to a break. We're going to come back when everything is fixed and ready to go. So thanks for bearing with us, and we'll be back soon. Fooled you. We're back, baby. 13-6 for Winstrike, and we're live into the game. Just to catch you up to speed on where we are, Fnatic low on economy. They have a solid buy, but they need to have a strong win here. They need to build up some kind of a bank to fortify themselves for the round to come. JW taking some risky peeks, rattling off shots behind that smoke.
Boomich inflicted. No damage whatsoever to JW before he went down. Great start for Fnatic. Extra damage has been done to Waylander and Quick. Quick had to just stay in position, otherwise that Molotov would have definitely had him down.
I think JW realizes how close he is, though, and he's probably called it out to his teammates, and definitely now that he can no longer hold the angle. They've got to be careful, though. That's a deep angle to be held by Winstrike. JW going for a risky peek. How aggressive does he want to be on this? Surprising not to see the ult boosted up. But that boost is going to do some work, does some damage, but now it's revealed. Brolin limited in the angles he can take because of that boost out towards Ivy, but JW's bailing his team out of a tough spot. Quick still on the boxes, and Brolin's going to find that out. Just World Edit. This is the exact kind of win Fnatic needed. They just need to make sure no one else falls.
Got to keep this pressure applied, but World Edit is going to pluck out Roland. Nice shot by Twist mid-air. So they will maintain their 2 AWPs. And that's where the bulk of their value is currently residing. So as long as they keep that going forward, they should be okay. Winstrike will have more AK-47s though. And this is 5 rounds in a row now to the Swedes.
We're getting there. 7-13. Still the double op setup. They've had that in their hands since the second gun round. And here's some deep flashbangs. This is what I was talking about, managing that alley. And this time Brolin just steps into the fires and does not want to let Quick make any kind of progress. Great shot from JW. Timing through the smoke. And I think he even got some collateral damage through the body because Brolin is going to help him out, give him an assist.
Boomich too slow to react on that occasion. We'll let it 1 on 5. Much better from Fnatic. It does go both ways, of course. You know, we were talking about how much is this going to get into the head of Fnatic. Well, the same could be said of Winstrike. They were 13-2 in the lead. Maybe it's going to start to whittle away in the back of their minds, but they are going to call a tactical timeout just to mull things over.
This is a round that I don't think they can invest. You can go to those deagles that had enough success earlier to kind of warrant, you know, another try just to maybe get 2 or 3 kills, keep the money as low as humanly possible. And obviously, as you mentioned, what now 6 rounds in a row for Fnatic, so the full losing bonus is there for Winstrike. So even if they buy down to just $2,000, they're going to have plenty of money in the next round to get whatever they need. Fnatic starting to build into this game, though.
Yeah, and as we discussed earlier, in the 13-2 game that was squandered by Greyhound, this lead will evaporate very quickly unless you get a real hold over it.
Yeah.
You can't take it for granted. Once Fnatic get to double digits, Winstrike are definitely going to feel it. Early damage inflicted again to Winstrike. Going to be barreling out of main. Norbert taking point with a deagle. This time no grenades to greet them. Still plenty of utility on the side of Fnatic, but Boomich somehow out on catwalk, completely undeterred. He's going to be plucked out alongside JW, taking down Nubert.
The Augs reigning supreme, much like they did in the first half in the hands of Winstrike. And Fnatic, another round with all 5 players surviving. Look at the money. That's going to make them feel a lot more comfortable, make them feel a lot more confident. You don't have to be worried about taking risks because they can afford to buy behind it if they do go down.
Now, this is where you want to see what Winstrike's T-side is made out of. They've played this map a lot. You'd assume that they've got quite a few different tactics at their disposal. Going to start to push aggressively. We saw Waylander do this a bunch of times on the reverse side. Spray out through onto World Edit, who did get a pick just beforehand. But this trade favoring Fnatic heavily now.
Yeah, a costly pick for World Edit as he goes down immediately afterwards. Brolin so close up. Molotov, he's trying to create some cover for himself to fall back, and he does exactly that. Although Waylander, no one's monitored that. They lost track. And again, a very costly mistake for Fnatic as Waylander opens things up. Now they're scrambling. All 3 players are Fnatic, centralized in the bomb trade and connector. But Waylander's the only one aggressive. I mean, you want to talk about being a little bit disorganized on the Fnatic side. Winstrike, you have Waylander out trying to create something, and Boomich and Quick still so far back in Ivy with no chance to help.
Absolutely. That's the kind of situation where you need to be working together as a cohesive unit, not one by one. Now Crims can scurry his way in towards Ivy. Back's turned of Winstrike. They're trying to make a move out onto the A side. Likely will get a bomb plant out of this, but The retake should be successful from Fnatic. As soon as that bomb gets planted, Crims is going to make a move through Ivy, and he should at least get one of these frags. Meanwhile, Twist is going to just jump straight in with the AWP. Crims may not be required after all. Boomich on the train. Gonna have to pull out something truly spectacular if he's gonna clutch this. Oh, they've lined up, but he's double headshotted them. Spins around and takes out Crims. Could that be the moment that sees Fnatic go 0-2?
Oh, that is a gut punch. What a way to lose a round for Fnatic. A 3-on-1, and they drop the ball. A lineup in connector. Boomich comes up with some huge plays. Disaster has struck. Thankfully, as we mentioned a number of times, Fnatic had built up plenty of cash to be able to buy behind a loss of this magnitude, but it's your morale that's got to be pretty low at the moment.
Hell of a clutch from Boomich. Haven't seen too much of him lately on this T side. JW looking for the preemptive shot up on the dumpster. A lot of players will use that to jump across, and then World will counteract. Oh dear, Fnatic are starting to crumble now. Their AWP is down. Ivy is completely open for business. Fnatic have got to plug that up sooner rather than later.
They have to rotate someone back from the inner bomb site. It's number 7 man exists. You can see him kind of considering it, but actually they're taking a big gamble and not having him rotate. I think they're expecting at some point Winstrike to attack this inner bomb site. There's been so much emphasis outside. But this is, no matter how they position, it's going to be risky. And it looks like actually they're going to go for... This is a massive gamble. They're rotating everyone inside and just saying, if you come to this bomb site, we have an overwhelming odds to take the map. But if you don't, we can just save these weapons and fight another day. But at 9-14, that's a pretty risky rotation. Now coming back outside. But 3 players going to be stuck in connector.
Fnatic need somebody to dig deep and pull out a miracle of their own. It's not going to be exist. Crims nearly gets the lineup for the second kill. He's down to 10, or 22, pardon me, but Brolan has found himself quick. 19 seconds remaining. Crims down and out. Bomb has been retrieved, moving to the A side. The remaining CTs are Twist and Connector, and Brolan moving into Ivy. Brolan has picked off one, but Norbert's going to find one in retaliation, leaving it all on Brolan, the youngster. The man with a point to prove at the major needs to come out clutch here. There's the first, but he's going to get caught from World Edit as he looks to transition across to the side. And that's going to be 6 match points now for Winstrike.
I think it's going to be a pretty easy affair to mop this up as well for Winstrike, because I think that's the money pretty much all gone for Fnatic. I think that money that they had built up is finally pretty much depleted. They have the AWP on JW still, CZ on Brolan, SMG on Crims, and for the way he's playing, you might as well pass him a rifle at this point. Famas on Twist and Exist.
And all of this stems from that Boomich 1v3 that should never have been. Speaking of the man, he's in box halls by his lonesome. Double stack in Pop Dog. Norbert is just above them, and JW, not for the first time, is going to miss out on his chance on Ivy.
Those classic situations. I think JW saw both people at the same time, and his brain just couldn't select one, so he shot right between them. Might as well still be aggressive, though, if you're JW. 9-15. You have the strongest, most powerful weapon on your team. That AWP can certainly give you the advantage. And again, Fnatic, it seems like these past couple rounds, they've just been waiting for this hit towards the inner bomb site. Even this time with 2 players in ladder room, 2 players defending the inner bomb site, they can have a pretty solid defense and initial hold between Twist and Exist, and then they can have the fast flank between Crims and Brolan. JW just left to his own devices to roam around the map.
Especially at times like this too, with a lack of utility and no kits, you really do have to push the envelope. You really do have to try and make a play. Fnatic, though, biding their time. 35 seconds left, but here come the grenades. Exist able to claim the first, but no more. Waylander's going to deal with him. The flames are not quite enough to deal with Twist, but Waylander is. And now a 2-on-2 falls among us, but Crims from the shadows will strike with the MP9. Oh, World, then it spins around and flicks him out of existence, and now he's seen JW. World Edit could tie it up here, but he's missed his opportunity. The bomb in the meanwhile is going to tick down. Slowly but surely, it's a battle of the AWPers, and JW is going to find his AWP true. And we'll be getting this round back underway for Fnatic. They live to fight one more round.
Just barely clinging on. What a narrow win for Fnatic, but again, a tough spot to be in with just one player surviving. Got to give a shout out to Brolin. Him and Crims both flank up the ladder, and the entire plan is for Brolin to kind of expose himself on the flank, likely get picked off by who's ever watching it, and then Crims to follow up so they don't realize there's going to be a second flanker. And that ultimately is what helped them win the round. Going to be a Winstrike timeout. You see the coach getting into the action. Very emphatic with his hands.
Trying to instill that hype, trying to wake these guys up. Love to know what he was saying. But I don't necessarily think tactically they have to change too many things up. They've been doing a pretty solid job. Yes, there's been a couple of dodgy and iffy rounds, but in terms of this one, it's just going to be pistols, not much else. The
hard part, again, if you're Winstrike, you want to play the economy game here, right? As we keep repeating, you want to get a couple kills to keep the money low for Fnatic, but you just don't have the cash flow to be able to do that. Your losing bonus just got reset. You don't have a lot of money to spend on the pistols that could make that happen. Exists. Going to be able to get a triple kill so far. Pistols out. Bomb is down on the ramp, and World Edit's just going to back away. But it is just World Edit as their only remaining player. So a nice hold from Fnatic. No players going down, no money lost so far.
Desert Eagle has been attained by World Edit. He's landed a couple of juicy 1Ds so far. Not too far off, did significant damage to Crims, down to 21. And he'll think twice about peeking again. But JW won't. He's the kind of player that will take that head on all day, every day. Now, there is 4 match points remaining for Winstrike. Here come the assault rifles, though.
JW is having a much better second half than he did in the first. A big 1-versus-1 clutch. Finding ways to have an impact even if you're not as effective as you'd like to be in a game. Looks like Winstrike once again want to test Exists, this time with those rifles. A couple players taking control of box halls. That's Boomich and Norbert. A lot of Winstrike bodies heading in this direction as well. And again, Fnatic almost reading the play. They hear no action towards Ivy, which they've heard a number of times. They hear no action or see no one coming out mid, which has happened a number of times as well in the second half. So maybe having an idea of what's coming.
Yeah, this does definitely have a feeling of a telegraphed nature to it.
There was even a footstep just made by Winstrike, but I don't think anyone from Fnatic is close enough along that wall to really hear it. Either way, that smoke is going to signal something's coming. Twist just going to drop down, and actually they're going to be able to stream out. This is a little bit deadly. They're actually going to keep pushing forward. Twist is going to be on a surprise. Exist actually climbs the ladder into the flames. He burns alive. There's Boomich as well. He gets aggressive on high train. Twist didn't have his eyes on it, and now the choke points are clogged up with Winstrike players. Crims taken out of the flank, and this is it. Winstrike is going to take this map 16-11. It's been a long affair, but JW, he's done some magical things, and this is just too much. Winstrike take it 16-11.
And what that means in the grand scheme of the tournament is that Fnatic, a team that many people would have said would go 3-0 and it would be comfortable, they are 0-2. If they lose their next match, they are done. They are out of the major.
Yeah, which is wild to think about. And it's not necessarily the 0-2 part. It's who they've lost to get 0-2.
Sure.
Winstrike and Vici at the start of the day. This has been a really, really rough day for Fnatic. The good news for them, one last thing they can hang their hat on, is that all elimination games are best of 3. So there's no excuse to be, going out in that kind of a situation. You should have the advantage as a more experienced team. They're going to have some rough matches. They're going to have to climb back into this over the next few days. We're going to head to a break. When we come back, that next match is going to get started.